Hey yo everybody, this is Escape211 and we are on the test server today looking at the Cryo Launcher 8s. Alright, a new weapon. Normally I'd start in the hangar, but I don't think I need to. These are super similar to the nade launchers, at least in feel and practice, although they fire in threes like that, and they have the ability to do stasis. Now, these actually do slightly less damage than the nade launcher 8s, their counterpart. They have a slightly longer reload, but they also have the stasis. They also have slightly more range, but that probably doesn't mean a whole lot because these are not easy to hit unless you're closer. Slower targets or stun targets you can hit further away, but you know, it's not easy to hit stuff. And even though the stasis helps, I'm not crazy about it just because you have to land 6 of your little nades, I guess I'd say, the cryo nades on a target for it to actually hit stasis, like you can kind of see there. But I'll put my build up for this one because I actually tried to do this right at a build that's comfortable for where it is on the progress, I'm sorry, I want to say progress path, on the gear hub. All right, these on the gear hub are on tier 4, and this is probably a build you would use on tier 4, I feel like. And boom, there we go. That splash damage there, not so bad. That hits decently. I do think that as you get up with this, higher up, the splash damage plays a little bit more of a role. But because the damage is just not there, I don't really see this as being like a super good weapon. At least in this 8 counterpart. I wonder if like higher versions of this will do better. Again, though, the splash is not huge. It's the same splash as what the nade launcher has, so it'll probably feel very similar to that. I think there are going to be players who will find benefit in this, like they do the nade launcher, but I don't think it's going to become... Oof, I thought I was going to die there. I don't think this is going to become a mainstay for a lot of people. But it's an interesting weapon. I like the idea of it, and I think it's fun to play with. If you're someone who's going to get it on the gear hub, it may be a good one to get for them. I don't know what it's going to cost on the gear hub, and it's probably going to be a while before it actually is for in-game currency. So I doubt this is going to be anything anybody gets or plays with or uses or does anything with until it actually is on the gear hub for in-game currency. That would be like the only place for it. I do want to try this maxed out. Maybe we'll try some after this. You know, after I play with a little bit in this kind of form. You know, we'll see. We'll see. But as an 8, I don't really think it's going to do well. But I mean, in this space already, you know, it's not bad. Not bad against bots. I don't know how it's going to do against players because I don't really use the nade launcher well enough. You guys can let me. You guys can let me know though, because I'm not a nade launcher guy. What are you hiding? All right, fine. I got to get this guy. I'm not really someone who plays nade launcher, so because I probably am not playing this one optimally. But is there someone else? There must be someone else. I don't see him. You can go first. You go ahead. You find him. No? Okay. Oh, he's over here. All right. We'll get this guy then. Yeah, you can see there it takes a volley from each side to put him in stasis, which doesn't sound bad, but that's only if you're going to hit them with all 3. Close up like that you will, but further away that's going to be tougher to do. And you know, if stasis happened with 1 volley and with 3 of them, that might make it worth it. So you could catch someone off guard and then be able to lock them down and kill them quickly. But aside from that, I don't know. I think it's still going to be tough to really utilize the stasis well in the way that you want to. Ooh, not a bad map for this. All right, I'll take it. All right, we're doing some more. And this time I'm using the beautiful Lancer. I love it when I can get to use the Lancer for this kind of stuff. And, oh man, I hit the roof there already. Bad display with the Lancer. I love days when I can use the Lancer and try to use it for max endgame, just because that's really fun. I will say I've been trying for a while though, man. It is hard. Like I said before, this weapon doesn't hit super hard. Well, okay, all right, I'm making kills. It doesn't hit super hard though, you know, because it's an 8 energy weapon and it's only an epic, and because this is just not something that's going to easily kill stuff right away or like is heavy burst, it is not super good. With Lancer, even on maps where he can get high like this, it can obviously be tricky. I'm only playing AI though. I mean, against players, that I think will be even harder. So this is not the realistic choice of a weapon. Most people would put for endgame on a Lancer and not one that you'd use really endgame otherwise as an 8 energy weapon, unless you're using it as a sidearm. If they make a 16 for this, I guess you could put that on a 24 energy mech, but aside from that, and in an application like this, that's kind of it. There's not really a whole lot of good application for this weapon for endgame. Maybe the higher variants, but we'll see. I mean, it's an interesting one. As support fire, it's not the worst in the world, because you can really saturate an area, close off areas, and that's really what these kind of weapons are designed to do. It's area denial, where you're forcing somebody into a funnel for other people to kill. It's not going to be a killing weapon in and of itself, probably get a lot more support than kills, but it's also one that, like, I just don't think people need or want to play this role as much as other roles, because when you think of when you're just regularly playing, you need something that's going to let you survive and do damage, probably burst damage, little exposure. This one doesn't have a whole lot of exposure, but your shots aren't always going to land very well. I even have this with a pretty well maxed setup, actually with the new pilot too. I forgot to mention that. But it's still just one that I don't really think you're going to see a lot of people utilizing. And if they do, it's going to be the higher variants. It's not going to be this 8. And also, I mean, I don't really want to get into all this right now, but with the whole way implants have been and the potential for what they could do with modifiers, I know they said they're all free. I'll probably make a separate video about this and talk about it, but I don't trust that at all. It seems like it's going to be a paid element, and when modifiers are pushing everything and people try to do that, who's going to want to switch their implants around right now to be able to set that up for this kind of stuff? I know I'm not. So it's just a weapon that, like, people aren't going to play or explore with. Nobody's really going to care about this weapon. I'm just being honest. I think it's a fun weapon. I really love the idea of this weapon, and I think there are people who will love this weapon and the playstyle of it. But in terms of, like, most players right now are not going to want to spend resources to play with something, especially when they have to pay for the implants and everything else now. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I could see them putting out a modifier for this because it'll be a new weapon and maybe a free one for everybody, but I doubt anyone's going to want to spend on a build for it to do that. So I know I'm being pessimistic about all that, but I really think that is the case. It just doesn't seem like it. But I don't know. In terms of the overall weapon, I'd love to hear what you think. In terms of how you think it practically fits into the game too, I'd love to hear those thoughts too as well. I think it fits well for its gear hub state, but that's not going to happen until way later on for most people. So I still think right now this is just one of those weapons you won't see much of. But love to hear what you guys have to say, your comments below as usual. And yeah, we'll see you out there on the battlefield.